I have a quick question for you. Have you ever wanted to figure out how to use Infinity Photo? If so, this video is for you. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to use Infinity Photo, making sure you understand all the features and buttons and nuances of the things you need to know from the standpoint of a marketer to be able to use Infinity Photo to crank out some pretty cool images. That's coming up. How's it going? This is Digital DIY Geek from digitaldiygeek.com. And in this video today, I'm going to be just doing a simple overview with you of Infinity Photo. I'm going to actually be showing you the things that I think is important for you to know to be able to complete the project at the end of this session. So if you missed the first video, I'll link it below and it'll give you an in-depth detail of what you're going to learn and how we're going to be doing these videos going forward. With that being said, anytime I reference anything, you can find that in the description area below. You can find it in the show notes, or if it may be a card for it, just depends on what it is. But safe bet you can always find it in the description area below. With that being said, let's dive in. All right, so here we are on the iPad, and I'm opening up Infinity Photo. Now, the very first thing you want to know about Infinity Photo when you first open it up is that you have this canvas. Now, this canvas right here is just basically for you to be able to open up files and things like that. Now, the only thing at this point you need to know is in the top right-hand corner, you can see this gear icon. If you ever want to make your canvas black or white, you see where it says General is the first tab, one over is Interface. Right now, I have this turned all the way up to 100%, which means it's going to be white. If I turn it all the way down, that means it's going to be black. And then up in here, obviously, it varies. But right now, I'm going to have it white. I'm going to say done. And then I'm going to click on this plus button. Once I click on the plus button, I'm just going to click a new document. However, the new document is the very first one to your left. If you look over, you can open up a file from your iCloud and from your other places. However, I'm not going to do that today, so I'm just going to say cancel. You also can open up photos from your photos. You can do panoramas. You can start a new project. You can actually import from your camera as well. There's so many different things you can do with this. Pretty cool stuff. So however you create your footage, you can always be able to get your photos inside here. So I'm just going to say new document. Now right here, the only thing you need to know is to change inches to pixels. Once you do that, you see where it says dimensions. You just tap on it and then you just enter the one you want. So for me, it'll be 1920. The other one would be 1080. That is HD resolution for the thumbnail. And down here, you can see where is asking you which one you want. Do you want the paper ruler style or do you want portrait mode or landscape? That's basically what it's asking you. Now, I like to click on this box right here, the third one, and that just means the background is going to be transparent because it's going to come out white and then I have a white background and I want to be able to see it. So at that point, I would just say okay. So now I'm going to take two fingers, zoom out so you can see the complete canvas, and really quickly, I'm going to actually put something on the screen just so we'll have something to work with. So I'm just going to put in a word, which in this case would be SM Geek. And that's what we'll have to work with. So just to show you how the stuff works. So the first one is your hand tool, and you could just move the image around, starting from the left corner. Then the next one is your move tool. This allows you to move your images around or whatever selection you have, and you can make it bigger, make it smaller, etc. This tool right here is your color picker. Like if I wanted to figure out what this color was, I'll be able to hold it and it would be able to tell me the color. Obviously, this is how we crop our images or crop our canvas or resize our canvas. You have your paint fill brush, this is for your paint fill, which is for your squares or something like that. If you wanted to change the color or something like that, this is what you would use that for. Gradient tool is just you pulling down on it and changing the color. Now, these tools isn't working because I don't actually have anything selected. Now, you can see where this actually works for my text, because if we look in the layers panel, which is to your right, the first button to your right is full screen, and right below that is your layer. So because I have this one selected and I'm doing that, that's why this is giving me that transparency. But normally you will want to do that with a box or something like that. Now these are your brushes, meaning this button right here after gradient is your brushes, which you can choose different brushes if you want. If you look right here, it is the fourth one down from the top on the right hand side. You can click whatever brush you want and be able to play with it like that. And then after that, the next one down is your eraser. Now, this is your eraser brush. It allows you to erase everything you did. Now, the reason why it's not erasing this is because that brush was actually on a different layer. Now, next one down, you can also look, if you double click any of the ones, so if you look right here, you got an icon or an arrow or whatever you would call it, like a triangle. You can actually have erase brush or erase background. For your brushes, you have different brush styles as well. For this right here, I've actually never used this, but this is like your burn tool. This is more so for like if you're using an image and you want to rough out the edges and things like that. Like I don't mess with that. This one right here as well, I don't mess with it, but you can use the heel brush. A lot of people use that in photography, but again, this is from the standpoint of a marketer. Then you have your undo brush right here. You have your pen tool, which we're gonna have a whole video dedicated to the pen tool. This is what you use to cut things out and things like that. Then over here, this is your box. You can create boxes and shapes and stuff like that. Just double click it and you can, just have fun with it. Then obviously this is your text tool. And that's how you would use that. So for example, I'm gonna come back up here. I'm gonna pull this down a little bit and I'm actually gonna click off this. So if you want, like when you pick a brush, for example, with the A tool, let's go up to the filters tool. Once I pick a filter tool, once I pick one of these, I don't want it to stay. So if you look at the very top, you see where it says filters, then you see a pen. So this means when I click on it, it's gonna automatically go away. So I don't have to worry about it. And then down here at the very bottom, you get controls of what you can do with that filter. So for right here, for layers, I want to show you how layers work because this is very, very important. So as you can see, let's go to the layer. We're going to click on the, let's see here. We're going to click on move tool. Then we're going to click on text. So we can see we're moving the text around. However, we can't see the text. So what we will have to do is hold the text and pull it above that layer. So if you want something to be shown, now this is really important. If you want something to be shown, it's really simple. Whatever's at the bottom is at the bottom. Whatever's on top is what's going to show. So with layers, that's how it works. Just remember, if you want to see something, you have to make sure it's at the very top so you can see it, and whatever's at the bottom is gonna be at the bottom. So this is gonna sit over my hand like so, and that's exactly how layers work. I know it's an oversimplification, but I really want to make sure you understand and see how easy this is once you understand how to do it. The next thing you have to understand about this is when you're doing things like want to add special effects and things like that to it, you always want to make sure you have the correct thing selected. Because if you don't have the correct thing selected, then you're going to not get the effect you want. So always get in the habit of just coming up in here and selecting it. Now, for the sake of argument, let's delete all of this stuff out. And let's say I wanted to put in a background. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to come to the box, and once I get to the box, I'm just going to, let's see here, I'm going to change this from that arrow thing back to rectangle. I'm going to just draw a box out, and after I draw the box out, let's say this is the background I wanted. Now, you want to really get in the habit of using the lock tool. And the reason why is because once you fine tune things, the last thing you want to do is be working on something else and you wind up messing up because you didn't lock it. So once you get your image or whatever it is fine tuned, you want to make sure you get in the habit of locking your stuff. And you also want to get in the habit of grouping the things together that make sense to be grouped together. Let me show you what I mean. So as you can see right now, we under layers. So it's the second one from the top in the right hand corner. And you see at the top it says layers. Now look right down, you can see the dot, 3 dots with a circle. Click that and you can see right here where it says lock. You can see it just lit up red. That means, now if you look at the image, all those X's on it means we can't do anything to that. We can't modify it, we can't mess it up, we can't change it, we can't do anything that would hurt that image or mess up whatever work we've done. So I highly recommend you get into the habit of using lock. Now, if we wanted to see through it, we can just turn off the visibility. If we were working on something else and we didn't want to see that right now because we wanted to fine tune it, we can just turn off the visibility and continue to work. And when we finish, we can come back and turn the visibility back on. Really, really simple stuff. Now, to your right of it, we have layers, which is what we've been talking about, which I showed you what layers do and the power of them. Now, you have this right here, this little circle, I guess, flag looking thing would be your new mask and empty layers, which I'm going to show you how to use that later. This right here would be, oh, wow, Affinity Photo crashed on me. How about that? So we're going to go back in. And let me just make sure it's still, all right, I'm still recording. Just wanted to make sure I'm still recording. So basically, I'm going to, well, I guess this is a perfect time to show you what groupings do since it didn't erase. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide over all of these, and then I'm going to click this button, and now all of those are grouped together. The cool thing about this is if I click on the select tool, now I'm moving all of that together as one. So that's the cool thing about it. That's what that do. This right here is just new pixel layer or new fill layer. And then obviously this one right here is the trash. So I'm going to come back over here, give me another box. I'm going to change the color just to make it easier. And as you can see, that's what this is. This is your color picker. This is how you change the color. Down here you have your swashes, and if you click right here you can get the circles and you can just scroll down, see what you like. I honestly like this one better because I get a truer color of how it would look. And at the top you can just come back out of your swashes, or if you wanted to change this you could just click on these for quick access. It's really up to you. And let's say you see how I just did that by accident. What I could do is just come delete those 2 layers, click on the select tool, so that way now I'm working with this one. And then down here you can see these are your paint brushes, and if you move over you can see all the different paint brushes you have. This right here, this is an adjustment. This is for like if you wanted to fix your brightness or your contrast or something like that. Like a lot of times with Facebook, if you're modifying an image and you want it to stand out, then that would be when you will come up in here and maybe adjust your contrast, make it a little louder, make it more vibrant, or whatever the case may be. So this is something you may want to know, but not from the standpoint of being able to remove blemishes or auto-correct images and things like that, but from the standpoint of a marketer, you'll want to know this. Your filters is the same thing. It's just in case you wanted to auto contrast or auto levels or whatever the case may be. That's what this would be for. Your FX would be for when you want to add a special effect to it or change up something or make something pop. We're going to do a lot with this one right here. So don't worry about it right now. I know I'm breezing over it, but that's because each video is going to be dedicated. Right now I just want to give you an overview so you won't feel like you're going into this blind. That's the entire purpose of this video. All right. And then the next one after effects is, you can change your fonts, do your typography, things like that with the A. With the picture icon, this is just showing you a histogram, which basically lets you see where your levels and your colors, like if something is over, it gives you an easy way to be able to adjust it and bring those levels down. Really, really simple stuff. It's a higher level of editing, which again, we probably won't need to do, but I'm just showing you what's here. Then right here, you have your channels where you can basically change your channels in an image based on red, green, and blue, and you isolate those specific ones to really get your images to stand out. But again, we won't be doing that, but I just want you to know what's here. This one right here, honestly, is your transformer, where you're able to basically just you can do a lot with this one. I don't honestly use this tab, but you can do a lot with it. And it's basically just you being able to manipulate boxes and things like that. This right here is your navigator. If you wanted to just zoom in or something like that, that's how you would do it. This is your play. I'm not sure what this does. I've never used this one. And then this allows you to go back in time to something you've done. So if you look over there, you can see all the things I've done. So I could stop right there if I wanted to and be back in time. And that's what this allows you to do. Then after that, you can click on it. And now, as you can see, I've been able to step back in time to when maybe my edit was better and I made a mistake, and I can go back to when I originally tried to change whatever I tried to change. So that allows you to step back in time. Then this is your undo right here button. This is your redo button. And then this question mark just gives you a label of what everything is. Now, at the very top, you can see we're under the picture persona, and you know the one at the top because it's purple, it's highlighted. If we click over one, this is your cutting out tool. Like, this is your lasso tool. These are what allows you to cut things out. And the main one you need to know is the very first one, which is the smart brush, which allows you to cut things out. This one right here cannot liquefy. I've never used that. I've never had a need for it, so I'm not sure what it does. And the other two I don't really use. We're not going to be using those two inside this specific course. However, that's not to say later on in this playlist, I won't show you what they do. But for here and now, that's a little bit more advanced than what I want to do. All right. After that, if you look at the top left-hand corner, you can see where you have an arrow. Next to it, you have this. This is just a few settings that allow you to export LUTs and things like that. If you don't know what LUTs is, you don't have to worry about it, but basically it's just a predefined set of rules that allow you to drop it in and color correct things on the fly. You can resize your canvas right here as well. At the bottom, you can see where you get these extra tools, extra settings and features. You can see right here where we're able to change our document, our pixels, our DP, all that cool stuff, which I don't need to do that right now. And then you can see in the third one, you have more settings, which is your select and things like that. So all in all, you can see this is really easy to use. So really quickly, I want to just click the back button because I want to show you the tutorials. Now, I highly recommend while you're waiting on the next video to come out tomorrow, maybe take a look at the tutorials. Now, the downside to the tutorials is made and designed for a photographer. We're not photographers, we're marketers, but this is a very powerful tool in our arsenal. So I highly recommend you just take a look at some of the tools, such as how to cut things out, you know, autocorrect, how to color correct things. You might have an image that you need to color correct on the fly and things like that. We're going to go over all that stuff, but it doesn't hurt for you to get a head start on it. So after that, you can just simply click on tutorials and you can scroll through these tutorials, see which one you want to watch the ones that make sense for you. If you don't ever plan on, you know, changing up a image or enhancing an image, then I wouldn't suggest you waste your time watching it. What I do recommend you watch is the iPad and desktop inner workings, as well as exporting, opening and saving would be good. And let's see, raw editing. That would be amazing if you were taking raw images, and raw images just allow you to store more data so you can actually color correct it better. So you might not need that, but those are the ones that I would recommend you do. And then if you hit that question mark, which is right here in the top right, you can actually sort it this way if this is easier for you. And in getting started, you have placing images, panning, saving, closing, touch gestures, and things like that. Now, if you're on an iPad, I do recommend you learn the touch gestures, and they show it to you right here. You can just tap at the top, and they're going to show you each one. You just simply keep tapping, and they're going to show you how to do it. So you can do inverted and all that other cool stuff. You could do tap layers. So that's an easy one to duplicate it. And then you can do layer multi-select. So that's another one. So just by coming over here, you get a basic understanding of how Affinity Photo can really help you as a marketer take your content creation to the next level, especially if you're doing YouTube, because thumbnails is like what really stops a person in their tracks and get them to pay attention to you, especially when they're scrolling up and down or they deep in thought trying to find something. So with that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up here. That is 20 minutes on the clock at this point. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Let me know how you see yourself using Affinity Photo to help you build your business in the comment section below. Or if you don't use Affinity Photo and it's another app out there that you prefer to use that's much easier. Boy, it's a lot of apps out there much easier than Affinity Photo, but still let me know in the comment section below. With that being said, if you want to learn how to build your affiliate marketing business starting from scratch, starting from day one with no social proof, no leads, very little income, click the link below, check out commissionkickstart.com, and I'll see you over there. Till next time, this is Digital DIY Geek from digitaldiygeek.com. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that so you don't miss any of these videos in this series coming up. I'll catch you in the very next video. Later.